Hello and welcome to yeah, we've done these before. Another Doubting Thomas video. We're getting back into the swing of things. And speaking of we, I should probably introduce the other half of we, Mr. Cliff Thomas. How you doing?
Doing all right. Got a lot going on in my life, and you do as
Yeah.
well. And I think that's some of what we're going to talk about.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And before we get into it, so this is the Doubting Thomas podcast, and the Doubting Thomas podcast streams live to those who are subscribed and happen to be online at the moment. And then after this, it gets slapped down behind a paywall that we like to call Patreon, patreon.com/benefit of a doubt slash, and not slash, I'm sorry, just patreon.com/benefit of a doubt. And all the good marketers say 3 times is the charm. So patreon.com/benefit of the doubt. So now that I've said it 3 times, you are basically legally required to go there and
That's
subscribe.
right.
I
But once
think that's
again,
how it works.
patreon.com/benefit of the doubt.
That's right. Now we did it 4 times, which undoes the legal obligation. So you guys are all good. You can do whatever you want now. So, no. So, it has been a little while since we've published some content, and don't worry, this is not one of those. Hey guys, sorry we haven't been publishing much, but we're definitely going to get right back into it, and then you don't hear from us for another like ever. So this is not that. We've just had a few things going on. And we just wanted to kind of give you we wanted to start off this Doubting Thomas podcast with a kind of like a sort of state of the channel kind of thing. And the channel, as you may be aware, is 2 people, myself and Cliff Thomas. And we've both
Hi.
had a couple of things going on that have affected our ability to effectively outbook outbook output
Output. There
content
you
is
go.
what I'm
There we
looking
go.
for.
That's the word.
So, Cliff, why don't we start off with your life update, since I think that is by far the most significant and uplifting. So hit it.
Yeah, it's funny because I was just thinking this was going to be kind of heavy. Uh, but with a happier ending, right? Right. So,
Just like my
that
last
doesn't
massage.
that doesn't sound right. What I was like,
No, sure doesn't.
this is
Um,
we'll keep it PG-13, right?
yeah.
Uh, so I don't talk that much about my personal life on the channel. I don't think most people care or want to hear about that. But the last year ish has
I
been,
care.
I know, and that's why I love you. Has been a lot of change. There have been a lot of changes in my life that, for the most part, where I would say would be considered negative for most people. I lost my job last August, August of 2023, and struggled to find any kind of work. And I tried out the freelancing stuff for a while, and I
You found
enjoyed
out how
that.
much that sucks.
Yeah, there were parts of that that
Whew.
I kind of found out that maybe I'm not built for that. At least as a
Not
full-time gig, not as a
not
full-time gig.
everyone is.
Yeah,
I'll be
it's
honest, but yeah.
so that, and then my dad passed away in March this year, which, for those of you who don't know, I suffer from like a lot of people in my life, and I'm sure for a lot of you guys that are, and gals, and such, that are listening to this or watching this, anxiety, depression. Turns out that I also have adult ADHD. So all of this I've kind of found out in the last year, especially the ADHD part. And so I was really depressed, like kind of spinning out of control there for about 6 months, and then finally, here's the good news: I did find full time employment locally here, which has been kind of nice. For a long time, I've been working basically remotely, mostly during the pandemic and things like that. So, a lot of heavy stuff, things that I've had to learn about myself. It really has been a learning experience, and how I could get better. And so I sought out some help, and with the help of my wife and Adam, actually, too. I'm in a much better place now than I was 6 months ago, even 3 months ago. And so, all that to say that I think, on my part, it's made me not enthused. It's not that I wasn't enthusiastic about creating content for you guys and just living my life, but it's sometimes it was just really hard to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was hard to engage with people, and, I think that maybe on my part that bled over to the channel. So, I'm not gonna say I'm sorry because, I can't a lot of some of it I couldn't control, and maybe this is more than Adam was planning on us talking.
First rule of performance, baby, never apologize. If it was like that, it's because we wanted it like that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Uh, so, that's kinda where I've been at, and, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying the new job. Getting to do graphic design again is, has getting to be creative again in the way that I've been doing for the last 20 years really
Yeah.
and just getting out of the house and interacting with people, all that has done a lot for me. That's been good. So that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, that is an awesome update, and I that was actually more than I thought you were going to share, but
I
that's
figured it was,
that.
but
Yeah, no, that works. But you know what? Hey, I'm going to give it a cheer. And then over on my part, a little bit of the same. I mean, not the same. Like, I think I had the opposite of Cliff's problem. Is I've just had too much
yeah.
work
Yeah.
going on, which is not a common problem in my industry.
Mm.
It's I've been kind of lucky to land where I am, but I mean, like, I think like, and we'll get more into this. So, just a real quick housekeeping thing. This first part that we're recording here, this is going to go live on the channel. This is just kind of like a channel update to tell everybody what's going on. But I think I'm going to get a little bit more into some life stuff in the Patreon phase of the podcast. So we're going to put a pin in that for now. And if you want to learn more, patreon.com/benefit of a doubt. But anyway, so I've just had like a bunch of work going on, and I had a system that was working pretty well, and it stopped working well. And I don't know what changed. I'm not entirely, I can't really quite put a finger on why it stopped working well, but it just kind of stopped working well. And so I'll be honest, when Cliff started his new gig, I was very altruistic and said, Cliff, you do what you need to do to to move into and settle into your new things. That is by far the more important thing. And in the meantime, I'm just like, thank fucking God. Oh my God. Oh, for yeah. So and I made Cliff feel super guilty for like the last month. Me telling him like, no, you just do you, and
I don't
just
I
like,
never felt guilty even once. We were just, I think
it was kind of like like an unexpected hiatus. Is
yeah,
kind of how
yeah,
I see it.
yeah, it was.
Which is fine. And I think we're okay with that because when we did our hiatus back in summer, we still had like, 2 or 3 weeks of content that we still put out, even
Yeah,
though we weren't technically working. So I think we earned it, honestly. So
and
um
I think
yeah.
everybody who goes through life, you just in especially if you're creative, this is something that I've started trying to figure out or figuring out about myself is that sometimes you don't realize that you're overwhelmed and your body is telling you something and you
Right.
but mentally you don't really see it, but your body is telling you something. I kind of
Yeah.
feel like that's where you were at. And for me, you
Mhm.
were kind of stepping back almost a little bit just to kind of reset, whereas I was kind of climbing out of a hole. And then now we're kind of met back in
Yeah.
the middle into a
So
positive way. So,
again, put a pin in that. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
right.
But for now, what we wanted to do is we wanted to mention. Um, so going forward, we had been doing kind of like a cadence of releases on Mondays, and I think given Cliff's new job situation, it makes a lot more sense for us to push back our release days to like probably like Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
just because that'll give us a time to record probably over the weekend, and then do the things that we need to do behind the scenes, which I'll be honest with you, it isn't much. Cliff does a couple things, I do a couple things. It's really not that bad. But it'll just give us time to get that done in at a in our own time, and then that way we can get back to hopefully the I'm going to call it semi-soft weekly cadence
Right.
of, I think we're going to shoot for weekly. Whether or not we'll actually hit that target has yet to be determined, because we're running into holidays right now. We're running into like a lot of travel days for me, which again we're going to put a pin in that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But just in general, one of the fundamental changes that you're going to see is we're going to start putting out videos on like Wednesday, Thursday, as opposed to like Monday. That'll also give us a chance to get shows out to patrons earlier,
Yeah.
because one of the benefits, and let's just go ahead and talk about Patreon right now. We have a few key benefits to our Patreon right now. All of our patrons see our content earlier than you. Um, the difference is the Doubting Thomas recordings that we're doing, which we do live. So this is live on the YouTube channel right now. And then after we're done recording live, that's when we download it and put it behind the page and put it behind the Patreon
Right.
wall. So this particular stuff, this is still going to be as part of a channel update. So that's just because, we want to let our subscribers know what's going on. But generally speaking, when we do a recording like this, it's going to be a casual conversation about what happens to be on our minds at the time.
Mhm.
Do it roughly monthly, maybe more than monthly. We'll see. But that's going to be live and then straight to Patreon. Um, the other thing that we're getting that patrons have that nobody else has is a podcast feed. So you remember
Ooh.
many moons ago when this whole thing started off and it was a podcast? So it still is a podcast, but it's a patron only podcast. So our patrons specifically told us, hey, I would love to hear this in our audio podcast feed. And we said, you know what? We can do that.
We can do that for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can
So
hear the dulcet the dulcet coughing.
yeah, I'll keep going while Cliff tragically dies in front of
That
us.
was delicious. Thank you.
While while we're every review that we do, every Doubting Thomas that we do, every interview that we do, all those are going into an audio only feed for patrons. So, and they can put it right into their podcast player and play it on their way to work, just like everything else. And they don't even have to look at our mugs while they do it. So I think that alone is worth the cost of admission to patrons, if you ask me.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I'm clicking on the subscribe button right now so I can listen to myself in an audio feed.
Right. And so that's kind of like what we're doing. I mean, that's we're still gonna be, reviewing devices here. We just did a phone review, which is going crazy, which is nice. Crazy by 600 subscriber channel standards, of course.
Right. Exactly.
But we're getting to a point in the not too distant future where if we can get across 1,000 subscribers, then we can start monetizing this channel, and I think that will increase our enthusiasm for it, because right now we're working for free. I'm just being straight with you. But I think that'll also be a good milestone for us to start, reinvesting back into the channel a little bit. So, right now Cliff orders a bunch of stuff for the podcast, which we really got to talk about that. But anyway, so and then so we get a little bit like that. But I mean, once the channel starts making a little bit of money on a regular basis, we can start doing some cooler stuff, like maybe even travel. Maybe we can even do benefit of a Doud travel,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
just Adam freelancing travel. So and that would just open the door to more content, and that would be great. So tell your friends if you love what we're doing. Talk about us to your friends and coworkers and loved ones and random strangers on the streets and things like that. Also, we have merch down in the
We do.
description that you can
And
pick up if you should be so inclined.
I am
So
I'm
yeah,
also
spread the word.
planning on maybe doing some more merch, just some more available options if you don't necessarily just want to rep the logo, but maybe you like something that's, adjacent to the things that we do, and that'll be a fun sayings or something like that. That's just kind of in the back of my head. Gives me a chance to
Personally,
do
I
some.
cannot wait until we get a whoopsie doodle hat.
That could happen. You never know.
Could happen.
But yeah, I mean, that
Yeah.
is the main thing is you know, I hear people say this on their YouTube channels, and it really is true. If you look at the analytics, you can see the amount of people that, in terms of percentages, that are subscribers versus not, that consume our channel. And right now, it's like 7% are subscribers, and the rest are just people that are
Organic traffic. Yeah.
organic traveling. Exactly, and
I
so
believe is the terminology that SEO people use.
and so when people say, including us, that it really does help us to like and subscribe, not only does liking gets us out there more, gets us more recommended more, and subscribing gets us closer to that point where, as Adam said, we can start reinvesting, the revenue that we potentially could get from that back into getting cool stuff to talk about with you guys. So
right. Or at the very least, it'll get us a car. No, I'm just kidding. It won't get us a car.
on a car.
No. But yeah, so so we're gonna do the thing, the like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. All of that helps us be found by more people who could potentially like and subscribe. So that is going to be an ongoing request. And by the way, Daniel Schwartz, hey yourself, buddy. I appreciate the comment. So see, Daniel Schwartz is now the best subscriber that we have right now because he is commenting on a live stream
That's right.
and watching us. So like Daniel, it's not a race, but you're totally winning. Okay. So all right. So that's I think that's a real good wrap up for the channel update. So it's at this point that we're going to throw in the outro. Oh, hi there. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, then you obviously liked what you saw. So why not take it a few small steps further? How about you drop a thumbs up on this video and maybe hit that subscribe button?
And while you're there, move that pointer over a few pixels and click the bell. All of that will ensure that we get noticed on the YouTubes, and we can make more of these videos just for you.
And if you want to go even a little bit further, you can head over to patreon.com/benefitofthedoud and sign up for as little as just $2 per month. And for that, you'll get early access to our videos and some bonus content that we don't show on the main channel.
Plus, we're cooking up new perks and benefits all the time. So go to patreon.com/benefitofthedoud and sign up today.
That's patreon.com/benefitofthedoud. And as always, we thank you for watching and for giving us the benefit of the Doud.